Let me show you this picture of something from your former Instagram account. This is a picture of you back in September of 2020, working with your cybersecurity infrastructure security agency director, Chris Krebs, at the time. And it shows you talking about how you were hoping for a secure election in 2020. He has since said, obviously, and you know this, that it was a secure and free and fair election. You agree with him on that?
Well, I certainly...
And that Joe Biden won the election fair and square?
Well, let me address the photo that you showed. Obviously, working with the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, what we call CISA at the department, their mission is very tailored, which is to make sure that elections are free from any cybersecurity threats. And certainly during 2020, we were focused on foreign threats because of the intel that we had seen at the time. What DHS does not do, what CISA does not do, is talk about election fraud. We don't have that jurisdiction. We don't have those authorities. That's the Department of Justice. And so
you think there was election fraud?
I think there's a number of election irregularities, illegalities, and fraud. And I think that's been widely reported
but enough
on both
to,
the right
but
and the
enough
left.
But enough to alter the outcome of the 2020 election?
Are you
an election denier?
I would say any type of fraud, any type of election fraud. No, this is important. Any type of, I don't want to just bypass, was it a little or is it a lot, right? Any election fraud should be addressed. And I don't think we can say just, hey, there's a little fraud, so that's okay.
Who won the
at the end of the day?
Chad,
I think that's very important.
Who won the 2020 election?
Obviously, Joe Biden is president.
No.
I mean, there is no. I just answered your question.
No, but he is the president, obviously.
He is the president.
I've seen folks from Trump world parse this out and say, okay, Joe Biden is president. We know that. Okay, that is a matter of fact. Do you believe that he won that election fair and square?
I believe that. I just answered the question first. Let me answer it in two parts. One, Joe Biden is president. Two, a number of irregularities, illegalities, and fraud occurred during 2020.
But not sufficient to throw.
Again, I don't have all of that evidence. I think there's been a number of reporting.
You sound like a conspiracy theorist. You sound like an election denialist.
How is that a conspiracy theorist?
Because Chad, let's look at
Wisconsin.
Joe Biden won the election.
Let's look at Wisconsin.
Won the election.
Wisconsin Supreme Court says that the way they used drop boxes
did not want to have anything to do with
the
any
way
of these
they used drop boxes were illegal in the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So how do you sit there and say that is a conspiracy theory when that happens to be the facts?
Yeah, the Supreme Court wanted nothing to do with anything.
Well,
any of these challenges.
That's fine.
Trump lost over and over and over again. Why not accept that? Why not move on?
I have moved on. And so what we're doing at the America First Policy Institute through our Center for Election Integrity
you had Donald Trump
is actually talking about a lot of these issues at the state level where we talk about voter ID. Yeah. We talk about scrubbing voter rolls. We talk about same-day election voting. Look, you asked me the question, so I'm answering it. If you want to look back to 2020, I'm focused on looking forward. We've got midterms, and obviously we have a presidential.
Should Donald Trump still be out there peddling the election lies?
I'm happy to continue to answer questions about President Trump. But I think polling every single day.
You think he's lying about the 2020 election?
Polling will say both folks on the left and the right do not have confidence in our election system, and that's a problem. And I think that's what we should be focused on. How do we solve these problems so that when we have the midterms in a couple of months and we have...
Our elections are fine.
Chad, there's fraud in our election system, and if people don't acknowledge that, then that becomes part of the problem.
You are the former acting Secretary of Homeland Security, and you're spreading doubt and fear and
it's not doubt
about our election process.
These happen to be facts. These are simple facts.
These are alternative facts.
Jim,
you're
saying there's no fraud.
Joe Biden won the election fair and square.
Are you saying there's no fraud in our election system?
Of course there are some episodes of fraud here and there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Bill Barr, the Attorney General, said this was BS. Why not accept it? Move on.
Jim, this is what I'm talking about. There are a number of irregularities, illegalities, and fraud when we talk about our election system.
Not sufficient to alter the outcome of the
election. I certainly don't know that. I'm not in charge of that. But what I would say, even if there's a small amount, that is worth coming together and trying to solve that at a national level and at a state level so that we can get past this, so that we have some integrity in our elections.
Well, we need to have integrity, but we also need to have integrity among officials who work in the government and who have left the government, who will tell the American people the truth.
And I think we need to have, we certainly need to have some integrity by those reporting the news as well.
And we do have that integrity, but we expect that of our elected leaders and people who work under them, because you can't continue to sow these seeds of doubt about American democracy. It's simply failing the American people to continue to lead them down this path of lies.
So it's not lies, Jim. I'm happy to go through everything that I just said and to go into detail. I think when you deny the facts, that there has been some amount of fraud. Now, I can't tell you how much, but there has been some fraud. There's been illegalities. We see it state after state after state. We haven't even talked about Zuckerberg. We haven't even talked about the number of things that occurred.
It sounds like you've watched one too many conspiracy films about the 2020 election.
No, I'm actually reading the news and reading the facts.
All right, that's all the time that we have. Chad Wolf, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. Coming up, former actor Gary Busey facing multiple sexual offense charges at a Monster Mania convention. What allegedly happened while he was serving as a celebrity guest.